As we are discussing here in the plenary today, desperate calls for help from people in Aleppo are reaching us. Men, women, children being slaughtered by the barbarous forces of the Syrian dictator Assad and his Russian and Iranian henchmen. The lack of response from Europe is a failure as such, and I am convinced that the judgment on all of us will be harsh in the future. On the issue on migration, I'm afraid we are not performing much better. The so-called EU-Turkey statement was entered into bilaterally between member states and Turkey, explicitly designed to circumvent this Parliament's legal rights to consent or not to international agreements. Basically, the agreement is to hand over €6 billion of taxpayer money to the autocratic ruler Erdogan, not on the basis of international law or any formal agreements, but on a joint press release. Recently, I have heard different member states suggesting concluding similar agreements with countries like Libya, Tunisia, and even exploring absurd ideas such as external processing centres in these countries, like Australia, by the way. I wonder, Commissioner, if the Commission today, once and for all, can put an end to such ideas and instead focus on the challenges that we are facing together. In other words, concluding the legislation that lie before us on the common European asylum system that must be resilient and stand the test wherever pressure is met in Europe. Because it is in the absence of a functioning EU policy that this union has outsourced its own responsibility to the autocratic Erdogan regime.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I'll come back to the Greece situation. Greece is something very close to my heart, and I'll discuss with you on that on a different occasion.